All right, maybe we're back. Hopefully we're back. I think resetting the microcontroller a bunch of times freaked out my computer because everything froze up on me. Which, like, I have a lot of USB stuff. I have a whole hub that's plugged in. I think has some weird power stuff going on with it. Some stuff stays powered even when it's, like, turned off, which is weird. And yeah, I think just resetting a bunch of times freaked out my computer for some reason. I don't normally have that problem. Maybe it's something specific to this device or the version of, I don't know, Tiny USB or CircuitPython or who knows what. Hopefully it's not going to be continuing though. I'll just close some stuff. That's the other thing too. I did have a lot of stuff that I was not actually using open still, so we might as well cut down on some of that a bit. Let's close that whole browser. Red on the bitrate here, but green inside OBS. Interesting. Maybe it just needs to refresh. I don't know. Maybe I'm not actually live right now. Oh, this show's live. Okay, 1:30. Watch this. Ah, yeah, okay. Could probably just cached the color or the bitrate chart or something. Alright, so unfortunately I'm a little scared to reset my thing anymore, but that's not going to be it's not going to be a problem. I could try boot. I think this one has boot. You can hold this. Actually, is this connected right? It is, okay. You can hold this and then press reset and then release this. Does that get you to UF2? It does, okay. Maybe I should just do it that way. It's easier than the double tap because there's no timing really. I mean, there is timing, but it's difficult to do wrong, basically. I was thinking that one went to like a serial version of bootloader, basically. But no, looks like it goes to UF2 just like normal, so go with that. And we're still live, good, okay. Shuffle a couple more windows. I had to re-launch everything here, so. Just see the preview, there we go. I'm gonna keep wanting to scoot the camera to move myself closer to the center of the cutout, but my green screen is not far enough over. It's gonna bug me. That's all right. We should have now 7.3.0 beta 1. Yep. Connected back to the REPL. And we'll pick up where we were, which was running the... Let's see what's in here first. Is this the Minecraft thing? Looks like it. Okay, so we'll take code, copy it, put it into here. So now we have an old copy of that, or an updated copy of that, I should say. We can delete code. We can grab this. And this is basically, let's see, create a function called blink, takes pin interval count, create a digital IO, switch it to output, loop over the count range, turn it to true, sleep for the interval, turn it to false, sleep for the interval. And we're on pins 5 and 6. What are they called though? Are they D or GP, I think? Import board, board? No, they're D. Okay, D5 and D6. 5 will do. And I don't have resistors on my LEDs. I know that's not the best, but these LEDs are not, whoop, that's not how we get out of that. These LEDs are not super important. Like, these came out of a pack of a bunch, and I have a bunch of them. I'm not super concerned if they get blown out or anything. Okay, so yeah, that ran, it looped 10 times, it blinked, everything looked fine, and then it finished. I'll rerun it once more real fast. We'll go REPL. Maybe I'll do something like this here, so we can actually see it when it starts. So green LED is blinking down here. I'll change to D6 also, we might as well. That's only a quick little change there, and that should blink the other one. And it does, so we're good there. We got our LEDs hooked up. So next, we can get the async example, which I think will blink multiple. So there's this code, which is like, you know, if you write this one this way, then you might instinctively try to write 2 LEDs this way. The problem is that they both sleep, and therefore, you know, they trample on each other. They step on each other's toes. You can't, the first one won't start going until, no. Scratch that, rewind. The second one won't start going until after the first one is finished. It's not what we want, so try to throw something over this too. Oh, I didn't restart Discord, so this is good. Let's do that. I have the Twitch chat over there, but it's on the same page with this Twitch preview. I keep getting distracted seeing myself move around in the preview. What I usually do is kind of cover the preview partially with the Discord chat here, which is why I'm not used to seeing it do that, but I can still see the chat. All right. So this one I think is the actual async one, although maybe not. It's not importing actually. Let's see. Oh no. Okay, yeah. This one's just using time.monotonic instead of time.sleep. So like wait until, well, loop really, really fast and just check the current time and then only do the action, in this case, turn the LED on or off, when a certain amount of time has passed. As opposed to time.sleep, where it's like, you know, sleep the CPU, do nothing until a certain amount of time has passed. This one is still looping and allowing other things to go and do stuff. So here's our actual async version here. Don't forget the wait. Oh, await. Okay. And we loaded the modified version of async IO. We made that change to it. I'm gonna look for one other change real fast just to like verify I actually have the right one. Again, I'm a double, triple, quadruple checker. I'm always like, basically just I've spent time in the past like testing a thing that was not even the right thing, and so since then I start like really, really double checking to make sure I actually have what I think I have before I go too far down the road of testing it. And we do, yeah. This is part of the PR, and it is in there. So, I'll enter black skip file. Interesting. I didn't know you could do that. So this one still blinks the LED. That part's the same. It's just no longer using time.sleep, and it's actually not using time.monotonic either. This one is actually using the async IO, so it's kind of like creating a blink task. Within the blink task, it has the awaits for async sleep, which allows other tasks to also run during the time when this one is sleeping. Then we have main. It creates a task from blink. We'll set it to D5. Can leave the rest of that the same. Gather all the tasks, which is basically, I don't know, like initializing them, loading them up so that they can be run. And then the running is actually taking place here. Save that, and we'll bounce back. No ticks. Okay, let's do that. Oh, that's from async.io? Is that listed as a requirement? It does, okay. Oh, okay. No, we don't want to run that in the REPL. Although that would be kind of cool. Although this doesn't have internet connection, so that's not possible. On devices with internet connection, it might be cool if there was like a Circuit module, for lack of a better name, but like it could use HTTP requests to download and unzip it. Okay, got our blinkies. Looking good. I didn't count them, but I assume that was 10. Did I count them? It seemed to go a little longer, truthfully, actually. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, no, that was 10. I guess it's 10 ons and 10 offs. Each execution is one of each, on and off. So that's working fine. Let's grab the next one, which should be 2 LEDs. 2 LEDs. Oh. Did I end up under a new YouTube? YouTube put me back in the same one 12 minutes ago. New one. Okay, I'm going to disable the chat again. Okay. All right, now back to this. So we have 2 of these now. We're going to use, again, 5 and 6. 5 and 6. This one does, let's see, 10 blinks at 1/4 of a second, and then 20 blinks at 1/10 of a second. Here we go. Looks good to me. I'm not going to count him this time. What I will do, I guess, is sanity check this. So 20/10ths of a second would be 2 seconds. 10/4 of a second would be 2.5 seconds. So this one should take longer to finish, which I believe it did. Yeah. Even though this one's going so much faster, or I should say, even though this one has 20 count instead of 10, because the interval is so much smaller, it actually finishes first. That looks fine to me. And so next we'll look at a couple more. Like, some buttons. Let's see. Okay. And for this, I'll have to wire a bit. I don't have any, I have the buttons on the breadboard, but I don't actually have them wired in yet. So for one thing, let's do our LED as 5, and then how does this actually get wired? Because this is keypad keys and slower, pin faster. We just pass these directly as, okay, yeah, as the, and they don't have to be wired as a matrix, I don't think, right? These are just direct. A picture of the wire. Not. Let's take a look at the next page and see if there's any wiring here. There's a picture for the video. Interrupts. I think I saw one before. Yeah, here actually. Okay, this is the circuit. So they are not wired as a matrix. They are just direct, one to each pin. And I'm only going to use 2 instead of 4, but that's fine. So let's wire that up. We need to go ground on one side and IO pin on the other side. And I have 2 wires here, which I'll use for the IO pins. I always have to look this one up because I think it's AC. A and C for anode and cathode of the switch, is that right? In fact, actually. Yeah. So we'll be using a pull up, technically. So we'll attach this to the IO pin, and then the cathode will attach to ground. Anode to the IO pin, cathode to ground. Fortunately, I don't have a black wire here, which is how I would probably prefer to wire the ground, just so it's clear, but end up with yellow here instead. Cathode here. We already have ground on the rail, so I'll just jump that to here. I'll kind of go this way a bit so the wire doesn't poof up quite as tall. We got cathode and cathode both connected to ground, and then I'll just use these 2 here. Anode on that one. Anode on this one. There we go. And those are on 10 and 11? 11 and 12. 11 and 12. And let's see. This actually work. One button is the interval, one button is speed. Well, isn't the interval part of the speed, or? Interval, 2 buttons. One lengthens the interval. Oh, okay, they're both for the interval, but one goes longer, one goes shorter. I see. Okay. There's this, which is like a shared object between the 2 tasks. In this case, it just holds a variable for us that we're going to move up and down. And this has a while true inside of it, which means that it will just go forever. This one does not actually end up finishing like the other ones we looked at did. Okay. It should be good, I think. I don't know that we need anything more. So we didn't any crashes or anything. We are blinking. There's the rate we're blinking at now. I have no idea which one is which. I guess we can see green wire is 11. 11 is the first one. Slower. So 11 green wire. This one should be slower and the other one should be faster. So yeah, that definitely feels like it slowed down. I think there's also some prints. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely speeding up. These are new intervals. I think I actually noticed this issue before. You get like a float math problem when it's subtracting 0.1. I think actually in the example, the display IO one I did, I think I maybe refactored this to use ints and then divide afterwards. Kind of rings a bell. But this seems to be working fine. Kidding between tasks. I'll check NeoPixels as well. I mean, at this point, I'm pretty well expecting it to work as normal. We haven't seen anything weird yet, so it's looking pretty good to me. Okay, so this one, it's gonna run some animations under buttons that reverse the direction, change the animation speed. So the question is, do I want to... Well, basically the question is, how do I want to hook it up? I have one LED built in, which I guess I could use, but the animation's like, it's not going to really make sense with one LED where it's only going to flash, right? We're not going to really know if it's working. So I could either get a strand and plug it into the feather, or I could get feather wing and use a doubler, but then I don't have the buttons. Do we still use one button or... No, 3 buttons actually. All right, I'm gonna get something. I'm gonna get NeoPixels so that we can test this out. I'll be right back.
Whoa.
All right, I will try this. I don't know if this is wired up right for us to actually test this particular code, but we will see. I grabbed NeoTrellis. Unplug this one for now. Trellis. This is micro. This is also going to be not updated. Actually, I think I need a pin or something to get to this one. Oh, I can use the stylus, that's right. We should definitely update it. I don't know actually even what's on it. Looks like it's got some animations running on it anyway. Yeah. Where this is old. Oh wow, yeah, look at that, 540. So let's definitely update that. I don't even think, honestly, async might not have even been in. Alright, I think I got it. Yeah. Not sure how this is wired. Hopefully it's just, there's like a pin for the NeoPixels and then there's individual pins for the buttons. I guess I kind of doubt that though, thinking about it, right? It's probably on like a matrix. I guess we could maybe use a matrix still. I don't want to necessarily adapt the example code too far, because like partially we want to make sure it works as is. Yeah, so if we start going down this road and it's not looking like this thing is wired up in a way that works with what we have, then I'll just get a strip, a NeoPixel strip, and we can use that. Or maybe a Featherwing? A NeoPixel Featherwing. We could use it with a Neo key with the 2 on there. That might be the way to go, actually. We'll see. We got some options if this one doesn't work. Be nice though if this was just wired up. I don't recall actually. It's been quite a while since I messed with this thing. And out. Board tour. Board. Okay, NeoPixel. That's a good sign. Buttons. It's not talking about the buttons. It's in the first one. Huh. Doesn't actually say how those are connected. Or oh, here we go. It is matrix. Okay, let me look at this code. So maybe what we can do is use an entire column. Because these are call 1, call 2, call 3, well, 0, 1, 2, 3, up to 7. Instead of actually using the matrix, maybe we can just use these column pins, and then essentially any of the buttons in that column would trip it, which is fine for us. Doesn't really matter if we have extra buttons. Yeah, I think that should work, so I'll plan on that. Let's give that a try. Where are we at here? Did we get updated? I think so. Yep. This one's not running. Probably libraries are out of date. Yeah. Circuit update. Is it all? Or auto? I think it's auto. Oh no, that looked like it worked. Or it looks like it's working, I should say. What is that? I don't. We don't need this anyway, right? This is. We don't have internet access on this thing. Azure is a web thing, I'm pretty sure. IoT must be a web thing, right? I don't even know why I would have put that on there. BME 280? Why we wouldn't have that? Maybe it got converted to a... We got converted to a package? Here's this actually, 280 right here. Oh, BMP, BME. I don't know. One failed 2. Logger. Huh. I don't know why those are failing. Do I actually have all of these on the device? Quite a few. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done all. Actually updating the device? This is going through the whole list. Not installing stuff, is it? Is installing stuff. Oh. Because I would not have put this stuff here. Maybe we shouldn't have done that. What does that actually do? Update all. Updates all modules without major version warnings. Isn't all? I could have swore all was the way to do that. So I don't want to do this. That really seemed like it was installing everything. I just skipped RGB display. I just skipped seesaw. But like we don't need these, right? Why would I have Bluetooth and bitmap font? Sorry, I mean this is not really what I'm trying to test, but I'm just gonna delete all of this. I don't need these, yeah. Delete. Basically gonna delete anything that's not like a library that I made. And then we're just gonna go circup update auto, or install auto. And that will give us everything we need for our CodePy. Because I mean this stuff, either this thing just installed it right now, or I guess maybe I installed it in the past. Is this one? Oh, I can't actually see it anymore. Oh well. But a bunch of this stuff just we can't even use on this device. Like, no Bluetooth. There's no Bluetooth connection on this. There's no simple way to connect Bluetooth. Internet is the same thing. There's no Wi-Fi. There's not a super easy way to get Wi-Fi connected. There's no display. I don't know why we would have loaded all this stuff. Either this loaded it right now, or maybe I did it before. Either way, though, we don't need like any of this. I do wonder. The one that caught my eye after the fact was that LED animation. The fact that that was had a different name. Oh, can I close all of these? Collapse all. Oh. I had a real and a not real, I guess. So this probably had changes in it for its selection. You know, why don't we revert real too, and then... Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, it's not listed in here anymore. Or they're... and collapsed. I'm sure it's probably not important, but this looked like the only one that I may have actually changed something on, so I'm kind of curious to compare and see if I did actually change and what might have been changed. No, can I compare this though? Compare with, yeah, looks like it. Group. Interesting. Is this part of the library now? I don't have any recollection of doing that change, or I don't even really know what that would be doing. It's possible I just was testing a PR though. In which case maybe this got merged and it's actually just part of the library now, in which case we could go ahead and get rid of it. So this is group and it's around 160. So it's different line numbers, but it is right here. And yeah, this is the changed stuff. So yeah, it must have been a PR that I tested, and I kept a copy of the other one as the real one, but it since got merged, so the changed one is actually the real one as well at this point. All right, thanks, PyCharm. Let's go here. I may have to get up and change the. So yeah, we don't need to keep that. I'm just gonna delete it. That way, it won't catch me again in the future, and I won't go back through this. There's that. So now we can just install the things we need. Should update circuit. There we go. Got that stuff. This is running animations. I think I need to keep this, but I'm not sure, to be honest. Probably just a stock example. Okay. So now we're gonna get, yeah, I gotta get battery for my mouse. It keeps dying on me. Okay. It's like it does this thing where it will just stop moving, and if you click, then it will wake itself back up. And as long as you keep moving it, it will keep going until it runs out for real. But like it'll last a while where it just goes to sleep or whatever, like if you don't move it for a second or two. And I can usually deal with it for a bit, but then it just drives me crazy, to be honest. I usually like it. The first couple of times it freezes, I just try to Try to go, oh, interesting. I try to go grab batteries for it. Anyway, back to here. So we're basically gonna grab this stuff. And I guess if I run it, it will fail because it doesn't have async IO. Yep. And so we're gonna copy in again our modified library. Not just gonna use Circuit. Copy this. Still ticks, which makes sense. We got that before. Okay, so now our only problem is pin. Well, our next problem, I should say, is pins. We didn't change the pins to be ones that this device actually has. Don't know if that's our only problem. Probably, but maybe not. Where are the actual pins? Oh, I'm not. Okay. This is a little weird, huh? Doesn't have self? Okay, so NeoPixels is code.neo or board.neopixel. Num 8 times 4, 32. Buttons. So here I'm just going to use 3 columns. Whoop. Call 0, call 1, call 2. So in effect, what that'll mean is I think, camera. I think what that will mean is that we'll actually be able to press any of the buttons in the column and it will have the effect of that action pin. Basically, there's 3 different action pins and we'll be able to press any of the ones in the column. A little bit of stuff on this one. There we go. Which is fine, right? As long as we understand that's why it is, then it is fine, I think, for testing this. So, and we did have board.neopixel. Oh, dot star. Nope, there is still NeoPixel though. Okay. We need to do anything else? I don't think so. Let's save that. Let's see what we get. Okay, and so it's, what are the actual pins again? They are reverse, slower, and faster. Does look like it always uses this rainbow. Reverse, slower, and faster. So this column should be slower. It's not doing anything. None of those actually do anything. Value in pressed, false. Pull true. Maybe we have the wrong pull. If it's just a matter of changing the pull, we can do that. I don't want to change too much more than that, truthfully, though. So let's take a quick look back at this. What did this say? The buttons are set up in a 4x8 matrix. There are 4 rows, 8 columns. Each button has backstop diodes. And columns are. And then just using our library. Does not actually say though, like, do they pull up or pull down? Not actually say. And I suspect there will be examples, but the examples will probably just use library. Yep. I'll click reset. Which I could probably look at the schematic. Sure, I know how to read the schematic. It's neopixels though, not buttons. Maybe this part. These look like switches. Yeah. Not quite up to the point where I can actually interpret what this means. Whether that means like pull up or pull down. One thing I will do though is we can just try a couple CircuitPython docs. I'm going to look at the keypad docs and then see... Oh, I should use that index page I have. Keypad. I'll erase it. I can get there quicker this way. Oh no, it's already... Oh, but that's Blinka keypad. Here we go. And this highlight kills me. I don't like it. Okay, event. Oh yeah, this is event. Here's the matrix. Row pins, column pins. Columns to anodes. Oh, wait, is there another one of these? This is not, well, this is matrix, I guess. Keys, here we go. Value when pressed, Boolean, pull, Boolean. Value when pressed. True if the pin reads high when the key is pressed. False if the pin reads low when the key is pressed. All pins must be connected the same way. So I don't actually know which way those are set up. But we can find that out. This will be a nice like little learning experience. Obviously, this is a bit off the path of what I'm really trying to find out. But I do kind of like doing stuff like this because it kind of reaffirms that I understand the basics and like how to use them to reason about a device, which I think is a helpful skill set to foster. So I am gonna basically just try this out because we can basically find out how this is hooked up just by writing a bit of code. I'll just comment all of that. We'll just start down here and then eventually I'm just going to go back and erase this. We will say call 0 is digital in out on call 0. We'll go start like this. I don't know actually, what's the default pull? Do you have to set pull? So this will spam. Maybe we should give it a little tiny sleep at least, though. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Cedar Grove, discussion on Discord. What are we doing today? So right now I'm testing async IO. Basically the PR. There's a PR that's open. I don't know, it's on one of these tabs. I don't know where it's at anymore. Anyway, though, on the async IO library, there's a PR that adds a bunch of doc strings and changed a few small functional bits of the code. And so we're testing it to make sure it still works. And then we'll report back. And then Dan will go and do the final review. Let's see. If you have to output to a column in order to read a row. I could maybe use matrix mode. I don't want to change that much of the code, though, truthfully. If it turns out that it doesn't work how I'm imagining this way, then I'll probably switch back to the feather and just get a different device. We definitely could use the matrix. We could also use the library, the NeoTrellis library. Probably actually uses keypad internally, I would guess, at this point. But I don't want to change the sample code too much, because ultimately we're testing the existing samples. And I was thinking that this would work this way. It'll also be good to just learn if this is not the case. Like, if my understanding of it is just wrong and it doesn't work this way, that will also be good to learn. Right now it's false, and it does stay false. Oh. Okay. That's interesting. So we did get true for a little bit there, but it's coincidental? Seemingly? Yeah. Sometimes we're getting true, but I think it's not. I think it's just floating inputs. Not actually really reading the button. Columns are horizontal. No. The columns have to be these because there's 8 of them. And then the rows have to be these because there's only 4 of them. Set a row to high or low. I need this one. Oh. Oop. Pasted a bunch of stuff in there. This may have broken it. Okay. There we go. So it's on the edge. I don't necessarily want to change that much, but if this is all we need, then I am okay with it, I think. Basically, the matrix it's still wired through the rows, even if you're not actually trying to read a row. Oh, what? I don't even know where that came from. Okay, and it is... This is call 0, and this is row 0. And because we put row 0 to high, we can now successfully read this first button. And so what did we say for order true when press or whatever? What is that? Value when press? False. So this would actually be true. Pull? I think we want pull. Actually, no, though. How is it pull true or false instead of like... Oh. Let's see. Okay, I think we want false. All right, so we're back to our rainbows. So then I guess these first 3 here. Not actually seeing anything. Does it print? Doesn't. And I don't know. At this point, I am probably straying too far. I'll probably just go get a... Oops. I'll probably just go get a pixel strip. Because I don't want to test code that's this far modified. I'm also kind of curious to... Oh, key 2 doesn't work. But key 1 and key 0 do, actually. Well, they did. They do sometimes. I don't know. Yeah, this is not. It's either we still don't quite have it wired right, or it's just not consistent, and we're too far off the path here. You want to pull to true if there's no hardwired pull. But I mean, we just did it down here with pull. I had it commented out. I'll try it. That's actually a lot better. So we got lucky maybe on when we did it before? Okay. Okay, actually it is working. It is working. It's very subtle. Honestly, the speed increments are very small. So you actually need to press it a bunch of times before it starts to be visible. At least for me, that was the case. And then key 0 is reverse, and reverse does work. It seems like it finishes the first, like it finishes the one it's on, and then it reverses after. But if you pick out a color, like let's say if you look at the red, right now the red is moving left to right, and then it comes down to the next row, and the next row, and the next row. But it's moving left to right. Red is always going left to right now. Always left to right. And then I'm going to press this first button, and now the red is going right to left. So that is working. And then this button is slowing it down. But you kind of have to press it a lot to get a noticeable effect. So like now we're way slower. And then the third button is speeding it back up. I could press this a bunch. And we speed up quite a bit to the point where we don't even really see the side to side anymore. Okay. I don't know, I'm right on the edge. We had to change, what all did we change? Let's take a look back. So we changed, I mean, the prints don't mean anything, right? This didn't, we did change this, but that's pretty minor. That's just like our buttons are wired to ground versus high. That's fine. And then we set the row. Okay, that's actually not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah, I think that's all right. I think that's all right. I'm pretty sure. And it's not the exact same, but I feel like this is still proving that the async portion of this works correctly, works the same as it did without the changes. Okay. So is there any others? I don't think there's too many. If so, let's see. There's interrupts, but we don't have. Yeah, I don't have a interrupt. Oh. Wow. There's a long pause. Okay. It's a message when a pin goes low and when it goes high. We can try that. I'll go back to the feather for this one. We can just use the buttons we have there. Oh, sorry. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. I accidentally bumped the microphone. Oh, did it again. So we were on what? 11 and 12. We'll do just 11. I think this one just prints. Went low, went high. Cool. Okay. Count IO, I don't have a rotary encoder hooked in, so skip that one for now, but everything else has worked normally. I would assume it's fairly safe to say this is going to work correctly as well. Honestly, this doesn't... Oh, well, it does, actually. Yeah, no, it does do different. Okay, yeah. Okay. I actually have it open anymore. Okay. That was the first one. Sharp memory are the other ones that I want to look at. And I don't have it wired up at all, so I probably am gonna have to go get more wires, honestly. I have 4 wires, essentially, that I could use. I suspect we'll need a couple more than that. I don't know exactly how many. Basically, I'm gonna take this stuff out. Plug in the sharp display. Oh, we're on the edge. There we go. Let me actually scoot it back some as well. Okay. Take some of this back. I'm going to grab some more wires. I'm also going to run to the restroom as well. So I'll be back in just a minute or two. Alright, and we're back. We got wires, even I got black ones that we can use for ground. So we can have it sort of kind of color coded at least. And I've never used this display before, so I don't know exactly how to hook it up. It looks fairly straightforward, looks like a SPI bus. Power in, ground, clock data, CS. I don't know exactly what these last couple ones are. This is what I got. Actually logged in. Huh. No? Oh, right. No, that must be it. I don't know why it doesn't show order history or whatever, but this... Yeah, this is totally what I have. Yeah. Okay. Let's go learn guide. Actually, let me go back to Firefox. This could probably be updated. I can actually say the wiring. And I assume it's the same, probably. We're going, it is 5 volts to VIN. I have 5 volts on the rail. No, I do not. I have 3 volts on the rail. USB. USB is our 5 volts. Ground. The ground is the 3rd pin. 3. I'll do power last. Clock. I have it go into 13, but I could use 13. CK isn't one of these specifically. Let's find something else that's using SPI that has a feather diagram. I don't actually know the right way to do this. I mean, this is basically just SPI, right? I think so. Oh, no, it's not. Huh. Well, maybe it is. Okay, yeah, totally is. Okay. But I do not, is SCK, is that clock? Doesn't have the wiring. Display should work from 3.3. I'm just gonna keep it the same, I guess. Well, I guess that's because it's the Arduino. Maybe is why it's 5. Yeah, I'll use 3. I'll try 3. I just want a display. Is there a SPI display? Also a Arduino. I mean, there must be a display with a feather wiring diagram, right? If not, we should make one. Maybe these are too old. This is an Uno. Raspberry Pi 3 example uses 3. Okay. Go back to that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm showing my limitations, I guess. I just don't know off the top of my head the exact right wiring. I don't know. I'm used to like just look at the feather, look at the what's that thing called? Ski name of it's the program with the red icon. Fritzing. I'm used to just looking at the fritzing and then it kind of shows me what I'm doing, and this has this, but the thing is that the pins are all different, right? Because this one just has like, so CS, they're using 10. CS is easy, I guess. That part's fine. Data in, clock. So they have clock running to 13, but I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to be using, is it SCK? I want to say it's SCK. I really wish I could find, if anybody happens to know a SPI device with a learn guide that shows the feather wiring diagram, if anybody happens to know one of those, I would love to look it over real fast. So this is basically what I'm... It's not a feather. SCK stands for S clock. Is that what I want to use though? I don't know. Oh, we actually made it to the end of the playlist. Wow. Yeah, okay, SCK does show what you have there. I don't know. I should be more adventurous, I guess, just try things out, but I'm very kind of afraid of like frying anything, so I always try to follow the wiring well, and not even wiring diagrams, but like the fritzing, the real base level colorful lines. Like I also don't really follow a schematic, truthfully. So we're gonna go yellow for clock, green, let's say for what is next, data. Did I really close that again? Data in, actually they went with green for clock and yellow, that's fine though, we'll just swap them. Data in is the next one, you have it going to MO. Out from the microcontroller into the peripheral, makes sense. Chip select doesn't matter, right? We can basically pick anything. Just use 5. And then I guess it's one way, which is why we don't have MI hooked up. So I have 4 connections right now, and that's just because I'm missing power still. Switch this back to the rail. BN. So to the rail. That one. Actually, sure, I don't think the backlight, well, it does, maybe it doesn't have a backlight. Doesn't look like anything changed yet, but... So one thing we should do is open this. I don't know if I actually have it cloned or you're not yet. Nope. Too many tabs. All right, we need to get the tabs under control. Sharp display. This one we can actually use. Look like the file changed in the editor. I don't know why that happened. Maybe it didn't actually change. No, it was MPU output. S-clock. S-clock. I see. S-clock. I do kind of like S-clock. I'll probably call it that in my head from now on, honestly. Let's grab this. Oh, nope, nope, nope. I accidentally copied that one. Okay, one more time. And right now I don't have the edited one, but that's fine. I'm gonna run simple test without the edited one just to make sure we actually have it hooked up and working, right? We want to make sure it's actually expected to work before we start testing the changed one. We don't need this code anymore. So we could actually use this, I think. Chip select. I think I did 5. Yeah. I don't know why it says inverted. Width and height. $96. All right, let's give it a go. Just frame buff. So we get some lines and stuff. This is not display IO. I mean, we don't need display IO in order to test the PRs. I'm pretty sure you can use this with display IO though. Could add an example for that. Where is this? Just looking in root. I don't think that's working right. CS is usually inverted. Do I need to, I don't have to do anything in code for that though, right? It's just like that's the way it tends to work? Or do I need to actually set a Boolean or something somewhere? Maybe we need maybe we can't do this? Well, I think that's... Well, we don't have display or release displays. Shouldn't have to change it. Buffer display. Sir? No. This is much larger. It doesn't actually have the 96 one. Interesting. Theoretically, this would make it show the REPL. Well, not the REPL, but the serial output. I don't actually get anything. The 3 volts power to VN. 3.3 volts we're not using because that's, I assume you could just get 3 volts back out of it. Ground. Should have. I have yellow for clock, SCK. MO on green, DI. And CS on orange, 5. One of the examples just used DX. That's how this one is. Oh. Something happened. Drew more stuff. Yeah, it's trying. It's just getting messed up. It's like stuff is changing. Hmm. So we could try switching to a non-RP 2040. Maybe try to rule out any kind of issue with RP 2040. Interesting. I see what you're saying, I think. Maybe the clock speed is sensitive. So this one creates a digital in out, passes it in here. But this one only passes the pin by itself. Are these the same object? Sharp memory frame buffer? But this one is sharp memory display. It's weird they would be different. It says display and it says pin. Hmm. I happen to know one of the PRs is actually using bus device. I wonder if this was solved somehow. Hey there, Grizz SH. Thanks for the follow on Twitch. Appreciate it. This actually doesn't have... this one. Sharp display, sharp memory frame buffer. Isn't listed here. Maybe out of my depth here. I don't know. Sharp memory display. So, okay, I'm confused now because I wish all the examples were in the repo, or really, I guess I wish all the examples were in one spot. I feel like I'm confusing myself because of these different... So, what is this? Is a core module? Sharp display? Is this a core module? Baud rate 2. It looks like that should be default. I will try it. Hmm. It did change some more, but so, but this is not using the library, right? Because this does not import this. So sharp display, this is built in. I can't click on it. Oh. Got no docs for this? Ah. Yeah. Huh. That makes it tough. Okay, so I want to be testing the code from the library, I guess. Ultimately, we're testing a change to the library. While display IO is interesting to me for other reasons, and I'm curious in that example also, I feel like we should be using this because this is actually using the library. Now that being said, frame buffer display versus sharp memory display. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so we definitely, I think we definitely want this. So I'm going to do that. We're going to switch this back. We are on D5. SCK in use. I'm just going to reset. SCK is in use because of display IO keeping it. I could put release displays, but I'm only going to have to do this once, so I could just reset and then we'll no longer be occupied. And I didn't really see anything change. These aren't e-ink, are they? It'll... Oh, they are e-ink or whatever. It... Okay, they're not e-ink, but they faded away very slowly. Interesting. Kind of came back as soon as I gave it power, too. I don't, was that 200,000 or 2 million? I don't actually know how many zeros were there. Doesn't seem to make a difference. Kind of like little bits and pieces changing, but not a whole lot. Okay. I'm going to get a different feather. This way we can rule out anything weird with RP 2040. Wiring one up to a feather M4. Okay, sweet. Thank you, Seagrubber. I appreciate that. I'll try to get a different one then. Try to get an NRF or a something else. Actually, I have right here. Yeah, actually I can just use this. I have a feather TFT. Oh, but this has a display? Yeah, I don't want to use this one, because it has a display separate, which is also on the SPI bus, probably. Probably they could coexist, but I don't want to add any more variables than we need to. I'll be right back. Okay. It is really weird the way that it powers down. Hmm. Okay, this is a feather NRF. Well, it's a feather sense. Doesn't have two 3-volt pins, which is interesting, so I scooted this over. Okay. Alright, so we'll update this. All right, update this to a relatively, well, to an actual recent version of CircuitPython. The old one was 6 something, so pretty old at this point. Let that run. Compatible. I don't want to do all of these again. I need to look into all. This is not even working. Oh, no, yeah, it is. It's just saying required. Does anybody who's watching now know if circup update -- all, does that try to install like every library? Or does that look at all the libraries on your device and update the ones that need it? So I ran it earlier and I didn't look at my directory before I ran it, but it kind of seemed like it was installing like every library, including a bunch that I would not need or use. So I would be surprised if I had put them there, but I can't rule it out. So on this one, we actually get nothing. Yeah, we actually get nothing. Oh, well, first of all, our chip select. I actually get nothing. Oh, no. It's working. It's real small. Well, the text especially is real small. So we get cross lines, 90-degree lines, and then text. Circuit update does not install new libraries or dependencies. Okay. I guess I must have just copied all of those to my device, even though like a bunch of them were like just completely irrelevant. Like I had a bunch of display stuff, but it was on a Neo trellis where like it's not ever gonna reasonably have a display connected. I don't know. Maybe that was from back in the day, like when the guides would say to copy everything. Maybe I did that at one point. So this works fine. Yeah. So do we have I guess we have a bug. I mean, RP2040, right? I mean, that's gotta be, doesn't it? I didn't change anything else. In fact, the only thing I did change was the position of the power pin, but that's because this has only one 3-volt. And then I don't know what it's next to that. A ref or something? I don't know what that is. A ref? Analog reference, maybe? Maybe that's still 3 volts? I don't actually know. But this has 2 3-volts, and one of them is actually in the same spot. So this should be pin compatible. We could just plug this in. Everything else should still work. it doesn't. It does definitely feel like a write speed, communication speed thing, right? Like it definitely does kind of feel like a baud rate issue, I guess. Or like something is interrupting most of the writes. Have it working on Feather M4 at 8 megahertz, analog ref or AREF, okay. I mean, I have a black Feather RP2040. We could try that. On NRF, you can use that to set the analog reference. Never used it. Oh, interesting. Okay. So you can kind of control your own. Can control your own like analog max value. Interesting. So this should not make a difference. I'm going to do it as like a sanity check. But this should not make a difference at all. As far as I'm aware, the pink feathers are the exact same as the black feathers. Feather RP2040s specifically, right? Obviously there are different feathers, but as far as I'm aware, this should still be the same. It's interesting, it does stuff even when there's no code for it. I don't think we need this. This looks like an example. Should have used D6, I guess. Then I could stop changing this. Did we change this on the... Did we change that on the NRF? If not, it seemed to work alright anyway. Works fine if the display power is connected to USB, 5 volts instead of 3 volts. Pink one. Well, yes, obviously the pink one is more awesome. Electrically, I mean only. No comparison if we're talking about awesomeness, definitely. Okay, so this will fail because we don't have the library. Maybe update this too. I have no idea what's here. 723? I don't know, let's try it there, I guess. That would tell us if it's maybe something between. Of course, that's the one I landed on. No. Alright, so I guess we might be making an issue. Let's search, actually. Yeah. So that was the only open one and closed. Where does this even have the word sharp in it? Sharp edges, okay. Put it on sharp display, I guess. I'm gonna go back to the pink one. Copy its boot out. Oh, this isn't gonna work, is it? I'm gonna leave it for now. It's probably not gonna work. Just gonna try to turn it to Python. Oops. That was the feather sense. Oh, that's the wrong USB. I don't know why I thought it was the feather sense. They're M4. Did you, CGrubber, did you run the same simple test? Or is it something different? What? It's not right. One from the tutorial. Learn guide. We're in here. Interested to look at one more thing real quick. Does this product page... Okay, well hold on, because this says... This says 168, 144. What is 96? This is 400, 240. Huh. Do we know Zhao? Usage, okay. Oh my goodness. So I didn't change it on the feather sense, did I? I just left it accidentally. Well, I thought it was accidental. Well, I mean, it was accidental. But accidentally, it turned out to be the right thing. Yeah. This is the feather sense. Okay. Well, that was a long adventure. Okay. It's working fine. It works fine on the RP2040. We don't need to make this. you must specify the size when it starts up, and if you specify it wrong, you get a messed up display. I have no idea which one is 96 by 96. I guess maybe they don't carry it anymore. Maybe it was an older version of this or something. I don't know. But this is 144 by 168. The bigger one is 400 by something, 240, I think it said. Yeah, and I just put the wrong one. Didn't I? Should have actually paid closer attention to the page. I should have looked it up. I kind of just assumed it was 96 because it's like squarish, and it was smaller than the other one, and this is relatively small. But I shouldn't have made those assumptions. So what we were actually trying to test is the PRs. I think I'll just go in order. Can't believe I did that. This is why I'm always double checking things. This is the exact reason. I did not end up double checking that, although you can bet that next time I mess with a display, I'll be double checking that much earlier. Discontinued. Okay, yeah, and it is 1.3 inch, so it's the same inches, just actually square instead of rectangular. Yeah, thank you for the link. I'm happy to at least have it confirmed that it like did exist at one point. All right. Well, that's how it goes sometimes, I guess, basically. Not too bad, I guess. Grab this. Be nice. I don't know how it could know. Be awesome if there was a way where it could raise an exception that just says, like, wrong size. It's probably wishful thinking. It probably doesn't really know what size or something. I don't know. I'm sure whoever designed the driver is much smarter than me, but it feels like maybe you could do like one of the first things it does when it connects is like send a packet about itself. It'd just be hard-coded in there, the size from the factory. And then in the driver, you could check that and be like, the user told me this, but the device told me this, and they're different. Probably a reason why that won't work or something, but that would have saved us. Now we have modified library with image. But what actually is image here? 1-bit mode equal to the display. Maybe we're not going to be able to test this, actually. This specific thing. Because this needs... I think this is pillow. Import pillow, though, does it? So the best that we can... I mean, we'd have to bust out a Raspberry Pi, change up all the wiring. We'd have to do kind of a lot to get it into an environment that actually has NumPy. And pillow. I'm pretty sure image.load. I mean, this is not a CircuitPython thing. It's not. This is not just like a bitmap. just image object or classes. Yeah. Using display image, convert a PIL image to the proper format to display. Very slow. Using NumPy to convert the image data is quite a bit faster. So the weird thing about this is it feels like it's written as if this person only added the portion that checks for NumPy and uses it if it exists, but when we look at the diff, it looks like they added the entire image function. With the current method. So does image exist? Image doesn't exist. We're using the big one. Does this use an image? Wait a minute. So this is going to be NPY. It does have image. Does it extend? Can't find a reference for the quargs for the sharp memory frame buffer class. Wondering about reversing the white on black. Sometimes the driver can check register contents depending on the manufacturer's power up. Oh, that you must be talking about like when I was saying about the size. Default register settings. Seldom have I found repeatable and unique settings other than version. Yeah, they should put size in there. It would be nice. Gonna put this display back in the drawer and pour a cup of coffee. Yeah, sounds good. I actually just polished off the last of my coffee here. What does this extend? Frame buffer. Frame buffer, I guess, has image then. Or not? Adafruit frame buff? It's different? Had width and height swapped. And it caused issues. It is different. So this is its own thing. Fill, fill rect, pixel, H line, V line, circle, rect, line, blit, scroll, text, image. I almost think this should be done here then, right? Okay. I mean, Lemore is interested in testing it on a non-Raspberry Pi, which is what we have. We can't use image because image is expecting a pillow image, PIL, and that only is going to exist on a Raspberry Pi. So I would say as long as the existing example, and maybe I'll do the display IO example as well, as long as those work with the new library on the Feather, which is a non-Raspberry Pi, as long as everything works for that, then I'd say we're good. So let's do that. This is the new one, right? Yeah, this has image. This is the new one. This basically is just setting self.pixel, I guess is ultimately going to end up calling into, I don't know, write or something. Does look like this works fine. I'm just going to scoot this over for now. So this is the wrong thing, actually. Looks like you're using NumPy. Well, I'm not really. Lines test. I guess there was a pixel test. I haven't actually seen it draw the pixel. I don't know which pixel it is. I can spot it this time. I didn't see a pixel. Pixel does it draw? Pixel test. Fill 1. Display 0, 0. What if we try 10, 10? Move it in from the edge a little bit. I still didn't see it. Oh, it also says middle opposite corner. I can't zoom in. Okay. mean, I don't think this could be something that got broken by this PR. I feel like it was doing the same thing with the unedited one. There it is. Yeah, I see it that time. The pixels are just too small, basically. Can't see them. Maybe if I had the light on, or maybe if I looked directly instead of through the camera. But this time I saw it. That is working. The rest of this works. So I'll grab the code from here. We should put this display IO stuff, which is actually on this page, as an example in the library. But does it need the library? I'm a little confused, I guess, about what the library does versus what the built-in module does. So if you want to use display IO, do you just not have to use the library? Because if so, then like if I were using this, I would just not use the library. This does say this one can be at 8 megahertz. Yeah, there's display IO. Yeah, no problem. Inverting the colors is a good question. I don't know if it doesn't use a palette. I mean, if you're using display IO, somewhere there will be a palette, and then I guess you could just swap the colors in the palette, and that could cause it to invert. If you're using the library, it's unclear to me, I guess. I probably couldn't tell you how to do it if you're using the library, though. I don't have a whole lot, and when I say a whole lot, I mean like basically any experience with frame buffer. I have a lot of experience with display IO, but not frame buffer or RGB display or really any other kind of display system for CircuitPython. So yeah, this seems fine to me. Yeah, she didn't specify exactly, but I get the sense she's asking about like microcontroller, not necessarily like a different single board computer. This person kind of replied as though maybe she was asking about, I feel like she's probably asking about a microcontroller, based on the fact that she also asked about the trinket, which this person is the one that brought up. I doubt a trinket would have enough RAM to use this thing at all anyway, honestly. Certainly not the big one, which is the one this person's using. If I understand right, the goal here is just make sure that this change doesn't break anything on the microcontrollers, and it doesn't. This part all still works fine. Well, this is the display IO one, but the example from the repo also still works fine. Hard to read in typical room light. Works nice in the sunshine. Yeah, it is a bit rough. A bolder font or something might help out. I don't know if there's a super easy way to just give it a bolder font though either, so There's a pillow demo. But that's definitely a Raspberry Pi thing. Yeah. Okay. Would it detect ULab? No. I don't think it would. Well, the only way it would is if ULab makes this resolve, which I don't think it does, but I also don't have too much experience with ULab, so I'm not sure. I think there is like ulab.numpy, so you could do like from ULab import numpy, and then the rest of the code would work as long as you use only the part of the subset that we actually have. But I don't think import numpy would find it. It might be worth looking into, though, like if these things here exist in Microlab. Although, I mean, though, it's kind of moot, though, right? It doesn't matter if it exists in Microlab because this whole function anyway is only, it's meant to utilize Pillow, PIL, which is only going to work on Linux, Raspberry Pi type devices, in which case you can just use NumPy instead of Microlab. Yeah. If there was one of these that took like a bitmap object, a display.io bitmap object, instead of a PIL image, then if there was a ULab version of these things to make it go faster, that could help us. Could definitely see that. But this would need to be expecting like a display.io bitmap, I think, instead of a PIL. Well, maybe they're close enough. Well, it doesn't have load, though. Definitely doesn't have load. Okay. Okay. I think we can merge this. It's been up for a little over a month. Nobody else has come to it. If there were other folks interested in trying it out or trying it out with the large display. I don't have the large display, I only have this one. I might leave it open and wait for another reviewer, but it doesn't look like we're really going to get much action, honestly, because it sat from February into February until now. I'm thinking we're probably all right. And it does... So it's basically overriding old behavior. The reason why this is actually declared in here is because ordinarily it would exist on frame buffer. And basically the only behavior that changed is here. And so this does make sense to me. I'm not gonna pull out a Raspberry Pi and test out this portion of it, because I don't have a Raspberry Pi that's set up for Blinka with wires and all of that stuff right now. But this does make sense to me. And this portion seems like the only new bit, which is basically only if numpy, which will be none if there's an import error. So that seems to make sense to me. So I would say this is probably still just a minor, because it doesn't, none of the functionality really changed. It got more efficient. Well, maybe we go middle, I guess, because it does kind of add a separate requirement, or soft requirement, I guess, right? Because it does have the fallback to the old behavior. Yeah, maybe we go middle. All right, and then did we get the number right? 129130. 130 is definitely bigger than 129. Okay. So I'll check this one as well. Hopefully this one won't be quite as long of an adventure. I'm probably going to head out after this as well. And if this starts getting, if we get into the weeds on this, then I'll probably bail without finishing. But if we can just run a quick test on this one and it's super easy, then I'll go ahead and approve this one as well and we can merge it. So this is basically using bus device now instead of, yeah. So it is interesting though, like, did bus device, yeah, this thing must have got added at some point. Because that note we found in the doc, it seemed to indicate like it won't, like it couldn't use that because of this limitation of it being inverted, but Looks like we have a way to do that now. Oh, I don't know if this... It doesn't have release display. It's probably just going to get... Oh, well, I don't actually have the example in it. This example doesn't have release display either, though. I suspect it's just going to tell me... It's going to fail to set up, right? It's going to tell me the pin is in use. Yeah. I'm just going to use reset button again. Again, obviously I could add release display to it, but since we're switching to one that's not going to initialize it, we can also just do this. Okay, so we got line test, rectangle test, text. Seems all right. And if there was any problem with spy device, then this stuff surely wouldn't work because it wouldn't be able to communicate with the thing. I'm a little curious about this. Can we just use board.spy? This is neither here nor there, really, but spy is not defined. Oh. Yeah, totally can. No problem. Okay. And we definitely have the edited one with spy device, right? Yep. Cool. So and I did look over the code before. It looks like Jeff did also. Oh, we do have conflicts now, though. Bummer. Did that? Maybe I did that with my merge of the other one? I've never actually used this interface. I don't think now is when I'm starting. So I'm not confident I could do this correctly. So what we'll do instead is what I'm more comfortable with. Get remote -v, get remote, rename origin, Adafruit, get remote, add tech. 2Ks in Tetrick? KKTRIK, KKTRIK. The one weird thing about GHPR checkout is that it checks out the branch, but it doesn't, you can't like push to it. It's like not really associated with the remote somehow. I don't really know how it works, but it's like we have it locally, but it's not actually hooked up to the real one. So Adafruit main we're gonna pull. And then we're gonna check out fetch. Nope. Just a bus device. And we're gonna merge. Merge. Okay. This is the interface I'm used to. We basically want everything from Tektronix with the one exception being the image function. Yeah. And this image function is not doing anything directly with the SPI. This function's side effect essentially is setting pixel using this, which then I guess is probably actually interacting with the SPI. Ultimately, because show is going to get called. Show is where it actually ends up writing out the bus. So this should not need to change based on the new SPI communication, I don't think. I'm not using NumPy. Stop looking at what I'm doing. Jeez. Yeah. So let's test it again, right? We made changes because we merged. Let's test it again. I don't anticipate anything different, but okay, there we go. Lines, squares, text. Seems fine. It is weird that whatever line this is, I can't actually read that, to be honest with you. Adafruit library. The spacing here is weird. I assume it's supposed to be that way, but it's like there's an empty space on all these lines except for this one. I don't know what that's about, but I don't think that has anything to do with our PRs. All right. So we merged this from main into Tektronix branch. Right, we're not making a new commit, pushing existing commits, which we merged. We want to push them to Tektronix remote to switch bus device because that's the branch that the PR is on. So this will update the PR, which will then make it so it doesn't have conflicts anymore. Double check the branch one more time. Switch bus device. Yeah. There we go. So now we got to merge. It's going to rerun actions as long as it passes. I maybe should have ran pre-commit or something. I mean, we're taking changes that were in two PRs, which both would have had pre-commit run on them. Theoretically, we shouldn't. Nothing should have changed enough to make that fail. But I guess we don't know for sure. I mean, we can find out ahead of time, right? Okay, so we should pass. I will wait for it to finish, though. I'm going to run to the restroom, and then I'll be back. And then if this passes, we can merge it. And then I think I'm done for the night, for the streaming at least. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, looks like we passed. Oop. R. Oh, this shows yellow still. Seems to refresh maybe? Yeah, there we go. So we could put this in an approved technically. Really matter probably, but. So I think I probably go middle number again. It's not like breaking change. The API stayed the same. But it's definitely more than a minor change. Like if you had a thing that couldn't use bus device for some reason, then it wouldn't work anymore. If it would have worked before, I don't know. Probably it wouldn't have worked before for some reason if that were the case, but. Let's say bus device, spy device for communication. Say internally. All right. Okay, I think I'm headed out for now. Definitely am ready for some food and get up and stretch out and move around and such. So thank you to everybody who is watching Neradoc. C. Grover, thanks for testing out that display. Thanks for help from both of you on figuring out the rows and columns on the Neo Trellis. And yeah, thank you to anybody else. Johnny, if you're still around, thanks to you as well. And yeah, I'll be back on Friday evening for Deep Dive, but do remember again, Saturday, no stream for me this week, so I'll be gone Saturday, but I'll be back on Friday afternoon for Deep Dive. So that is probably the next time I'm streaming, maybe earlier. You can follow me on Twitch if you want notification if I hop on a different day, but Friday will be the next one for sure. So I will see you all then.